Yeah. Hey, guys. So in the United States, the recycling culture is about 20 years old. And it depends on which city you live in. In some cities, you can just throw your recycling in one bag, throw it in a big garbage bin, and the recycling companies will sort it for you. Where my mom lives in California, you have to sort newspapers, cardboard boxes, and then everything else you throw in the other bin. So it's fairly easy to do in America. But as for the Korean system, I really love it. I enjoy it. I enjoy separating my recycling because I know I'm doing something positive for the environment and I'm reducing the total amount of trash. And, as everyone knows here, the trash bags are not as cheap as they are in other parts of the world. So if you're paying, 500 won for a trash bag, you're going to be very conscious on how you throw out your garbage. So yeah, I enjoy the system here. Last week, many residents in Seoul and Gyeonggi-do had to experience something unexpected. They were not allowed to recycle plastic bags, and styrofoam. Instead, they were advised to put them in the designated garbage bags. In some apartment complexes, heaps of uncollected recyclables stayed in the recycling area. Several reasons were cited for this so-called garbage fiasco. Those recycled plastics and other recyclables used to be sold to collectors, but they refuse to pick them up anymore because the recyclables have become too costly to process. Another reason is China's decision to reduce imports of recyclable materials. On top of that, waste from most households was not properly recycled, so the collectors had to spend too much time re-separating them manually. Collecting garbage was resumed after a few days through government negotiations with the collectors, but the temporary resumption is far from being a fundamental solution. First of all, we need to reduce the total amount of garbage. Products sold online and foods delivered or taken out are overwrapped and create an unnecessary amount of garbage. Korea's recycling culture is not subpar compared to other industrialized countries, but if we don't do more now, a second or a third garbage fiasco can occur at any time. Recycling companies claim that items which have not been sorted correctly need to be sorted again at the recycling center, which affects the bottom line. So I said the items which have not been sorted. To sort is to take what you have and put them in different categories or different piles. So when we sort our recycling, we put aluminum or cans in one bin, plastics in another, newspapers in another. And finally, at the end of the sentence, I said, which affects the bottom line. The bottom line is a business's or a person's profits. So, if costs go up, the bottom line number goes down. So when we say affects the bottom line, it means it'll affect the amount of money someone makes. Costs increase and profits decrease when recycling companies have to resort recyclable materials. So previously I talked about sorting. When we say resort, means the items have been sorted, but when they go through them, they might find a Coke can in the plastic or a plastic bottle in the aluminum pile. So then you have to resort it again. So that means to redistribute or put each item back in the pile where it belongs. It means to resort. One issue is that households are not washing their recyclables. These items need to be processed manually at the recycling center. So there's two words in here. I want to mention households. A household is just an area where people live. It can be an apartment, it can be a studio, a one room, or it could be a house. But it just means a place where someone lives is called a household. And we use it to kind of define, for example, if you have a town of 10,000 people, but only 2,500 households, you can get a relatively accurate view of what the town is. That means it's a very small town with a lot of people living in houses. And then they said we're not washing their recyclables. So we have two definitions for waste. You have garbage, which you throw away, and it goes to the dump. And then you have recyclables. So recyclable plastic is a recyclable, plastic bags are recyclable, cardboard boxes are recyclable. But if you go somewhere, for example, parts of the United States, a plastic bag is not a recyclable. It is now classified as garbage. So a recyclable is something we classify as can be recycled. Unwashed recyclables increase costs because they need to be handled separately. The financial status of recycling companies has been negatively affected by the drop in the value of recycled waste. So I mentioned the financial status. When we talk about a company or even a person, we ask about their, a financial status. And either your financial status is good, you're making money, you're profitable, you can pay your bills. But if your financial status is not good, that means you're not making a lot of money. You're in the red, which means you are in debt, and you cannot pay your bills. That's what we talk about financial status. The value of recycled plastic and styrofoam is not what it once was. This has caused financial strain for waste management companies. So that first part, the value of recycled plastic and styrofoam is not what it once was. This has caused financial strain for waste management companies. So the expression is not what it once was means that something used to be very good, but now it's not as good as time goes on. So, for example, if you had an athlete, he is not what he once was, meaning that he is no longer a very good athlete. He's gotten too old or too slow. And then the second part, this has caused financial strain for waste management companies. Financial strain is when companies or people are having a difficult time to make profits, or if something sudden occurs and a company is not ready for it and doesn't have enough money, they may need to borrow money. So that's financial strain. It's usually an uncomfortable financial situation. We need to think about reducing the total amount of garbage by focusing how we box and deliver items. A lot of these delivered goods come with a lot of styrofoam and plastic. So I said by focusing on how we box and deliver, we can use box as a verb, not only for the sport of boxing, but to put something in a box or put something in a package, we use the verb to box, so we can box the item. One way to solve this problem is the companies need to be conscious about their wrapping methods. The more wrapping that comes in boxes, the more waste is produced. We said the companies need to be conscious. To be conscious means you're in a kind of a mindset when you're thinking about something. For example, if you are health conscious, that means you're exercising, you have a very good diet, you're taking your vitamins. If you're fashion conscious means that you are always keeping up with the trends, you're always trying to look good, and you're always very fashionable. Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.